Hello students, I welcome you to Sangli Shikshan Sanstha's YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn Standard 7th, Subject Geography, Lesson number 2, the Sun, the Moon and the Earth. So students, before we start, let us see actually what we are going to learn in this lesson. So we shall learn the Moon's motions, Moon's positions, phases of the Moon, angles made by the Earth, Moon and Sun, as well as eclipses. So let us start. The first point, the Moon's motions. Like the Earth, the Moon also has axial and orbital motion. The Moon, while rotating around itself, revolves around the Earth and the Earth revolves around the Sun. Though the Moon does not revolve around the Sun independently, indirectly it makes revolution around the Sun. Now, let us see Moon's positions. So for that we are going to observe the image for the better understanding. Now, let us see the Moon's positions. This is the image, figure 2.1 in your textbook, which shows the Moon's positions. The Moon's orbit of revolution is also elliptical as that of the Earth. Hence, the distance of the Moon from the Earth is not same everywhere along its orbit while revolving. See students, you can observe this image. See, this blue path is the Moon's orbit of revolution. So as it is elliptical in shape, the position of Moon you can observe. When it is the closest to the Earth, it is said to be in perigee position. And when it is at the farthest, the position is called apogee. So students, just we saw the Moon's positions. Now the image which is in front of you, that shows the phases of the Moon. So the next point we are going to see, that is phases of the Moon. Students, you know how the Moon waxes from the new moon day to full moon day, and it wanes from the full moon day to new moon day. We see the phases of the Moon in the sky from the Earth. They are illuminated portions of the Earth. See, you can see the figure here. The outer circle as well as inner circle in which the images of Moon are given. The illuminated portion of the Moon, it is meant by, it is visible due to the sunlight reflected from the Moon. This figure shows the different phases of the Moon. It shows the relative positions of the Moon on the both the quarters day. See, 1 and 2, both quarter days, as well as the full moon day and new moon days with respect to the Earth and the Sun. So the outer circle images are with respect to the Sun and the inner circle images are with respect to the Earth. So this illuminated portion, illuminated is meant by shining portion of the Moon, can be visible from the Earth. Those are known as the phases of the Moon. So students, till now we have learnt the Moon's motions as well as Moon's positions, and third point we have seen, that is phases of the Moon. Now, next point we are going to learn, that is angles made by the Earth, Moon and the Sun. So for that also we are going to see the image for better understanding. Now let us understand the angles made by the Earth, Moon and Sun with the help of this figure. While revolving around the Earth, on a new moon day, the Moon is positioned between the Sun and the Earth. Here you can see the position of the Moon between the Sun and the Earth, as well as here you can see the angle. So you may see that here the moon makes an angle of 0 degree. The moon is not visible on this new moon day as the shining part of the moon is not facing the earth. Now, next point, you see the moon is on the opposite side of the sun on a full moon day. You can see here the position of the moon on full moon day. This angle made by the moon is of 180 degree. You can see here 0 degree to 180 degree. The complete bright disk of moon appears in the sky during full moon day. Now let us see the angles made by the moon during quarter days. On first quarter day, the moon make an angle of 90 degree, and on third quarter day, the moon makes an angle of 270 degree. Hence, in the sky, the moon appears semicircular in shape. You can see here the illuminated or the shining part or phase of the moon. It appears semicircular in shape in the sky during quarter days. Now, let us see how eclipses occur. The orbital path of the earth and that of the moon are not in the same plane. The moon's revolutionary orbit makes an angle of about 5 degrees with that of the earth. In the previous point, we have seen that on each new moon day, the lines joining the earth, the sun and the moon make an angle of 0 degree, and on each full moon day, this angle is of 180 degree. Even so, the sun, the earth and the moon may not be in one straight line and in the same plane. So, every new moon day and full moon day, it is not so that these three celestial bodies are in one straight line as well as in same plane. Sometimes on a new moon day or full moon day, the three fall in one line and are in same plane. Eclipses occur on such occasions. So students, eclipses can be solar as well as lunar. Now let us learn first of all solar eclipse. So you can see the image here. If the moon is between the sun and the earth, the shadow of the moon falls on the earth. The place on the earth where the moon's shadow falls experience a solar eclipse. This shadow is of two types. The central portion of the shadow is darker. You can see here the dark shadow. And the periphery is light. In the area of dark shadow on the earth, the sun becomes completely invisible. This condition is known as total solar eclipse. However, during the same period, at the place where the shadow is lighter, the sun disk appears partially covered. This condition is described as partial solar eclipse. So you can see here images, partial solar eclipse. The sun is partially invisible, and during total solar eclipse, the sun disk is completely invisible. Sometimes the moon is in apogee position. It is meant by moon is farthest from the earth. So at that time what happens? As a result, the deep shadow of the moon does not reach the earth. You can see here in the image, the dark shadow of the moon hasn't reached till the earth. So, from a very small region of the earth, only an illuminated edge of the sun disk is seen in the form of a ring. This is called annular eclipse. Annular eclipse is a rare phenomenon. So you can see here in this picture, the partial solar eclipse, and in this picture you can see annular solar eclipse. You can see the illuminated edge of the sun disk. It looks like a ring. So students, now let us see lunar eclipse. The image, that is figure 2.8, is in front of you. With the help of this figure, let us understand lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse occurs when the moon enters the shadow of the earth. See, you can see here the shadow cast by the earth. Moon is revolving around the earth. During its revolution, when the moon enters the shadow of the earth, lunar eclipse occurs. So as we have learnt before, it is necessary that the sun, the moon and the earth are in the same plane. Here, the earth is between the sun and the moon. On a full moon day, the moon's path of revolution passes through the thick shadow of the earth. If the moon is totally hidden within the shadow, we see a total lunar eclipse. And if a part of the moon is in the shadow, we see a partial lunar eclipse. You can see here the pictures. Here the moon is totally hidden in the shadow of the earth, that is total lunar eclipse. And here the moon has entered partially in the shadow of the earth, that is partial lunar eclipse. So children, here we learned how eclipses occur. Keep in mind that a solar eclipse or lunar eclipse is just an astronomical event. There is nothing auspicious or inauspicious about these events. For scientists working in the field of astronomy, eclipses present great opportunities for study. The scientists from all over the world make it a point to visit the locations where such events are going to occur. They carry out elaborated studies of eclipse conditions. Students, always remember that while observing a solar eclipse, it is necessary to view the sun disk through dark goggles or special goggles made for that purpose. Otherwise, the intense light of the sun can be harmful to the naked eyes. Students, do you know? Like eclipses, some other specific conditions occur with reference to the sun and the moon. These are called occultation and transit respectively. Occultation occurs with reference to the moon, whereas the transit is associated with the sun. The moon revolves around the earth. While doing so, if a star or a planet appears to hide behind the moon, it is called occultation. The total solar eclipse is actually a kind of occultation. If an inner planet like Mercury or Venus comes in between the line of the earth and the sun, a transit occurs. At that time, a small dot appears to move across the sun disk. So children, today we have learnt the lesson The Sun, the Moon and the Earth, in which we saw the moon's motions, moon's positions, phases of the moon as well as eclipses. Hope you have understood the lesson. So viewers, subscribe Sangli Shikshan Sanstha's YouTube channel and press the bell icon for further notifications. Thank you very much.